Hi, Kyle. Hey, I wanted to just put together a quick screencast to talk through some of my thoughts with web stuff. That way I can show you some of my thinking and kind of walk through a few changes and additions that I made to this Google Doc. It's not really substantive changes, it's more formatting stuff so that I can clearly communicate with you what goes on the website and what was more of like I don't know, a header, not a header, but more like descriptive text for that I was, trying to communicate with you. So here's what I did. So in the outline here, let's see, once we scroll down to my content. So anything that I have in blue here is text that I want to go on the website. Anything that I left in black is something that is some type of little descriptor that I am trying to communicate to you. That way you can kind of get a feel for where the blue text should live. So that's pretty consistent throughout the whole doc. There is one place, or actually maybe even two or three places where I have red text. So anytime there's a citation, I put it in red. I don't know if this is an option or not, but I'm curious if we could do some type of like hover over, or if that's too tough, maybe do like a little like link. I don't know, like a button that shows these references, or in the very least, just put it in smaller text underneath what the references actually go to, or the citations actually go to. So I wanted to walk through a couple things here. So first of all, it's been really helpful for me to have this website draft here, because I think it's been, well, one, it's great to see, and it's looking great. We're really excited. Also, I think it helps me kind of streamline the way I have the web design Google Doc, to help a little bit with like formatting or order of importance. So anyway, the main page I wanted to tell you is looking great. This is exactly what we had hoped for with having the three boxes. I actually showed this to our graphics designer this morning, and we really like how your sample icons here are just in white. And so what she's going to do is today she's going to work up our suite icons. So these are what we're referring to as the three components of our suite. And she's going to work up the suite icons in just white. And I wanted to show you that I do have that linked here. So it says, for the three columns on the landing page. And I say use these icons. Currently, this Google Drive folder is empty, but actually, nope. Scratch that. She's working on it right now. She has the icons here. Now, these actually have a white circle. So I don't know what ultimately makes the most sense. This is an icon that has a white border with the navy blue icon on the inside. And she'll obviously be populating more as she goes. Another option is that we could just have a white icon as well. And let me see here. In white. Okay, yeah. So I might just also ask her to put one in here that's only in white. And then you can play around with what looks best for that on the website. So one thing that I wanted to propose here is, I'm noticing here, okay, this is great. A few words about us. Okay, this part. So you'll see that some of this text is stuff that I actually don't want on the website, and you can see that in my new color coding. But I'm wondering, rather than having lists here, and maybe that you haven't done the design work here yet, and that's fine, but I'm curious about instead doing something side by side. So maybe on the left side, it just says peer addresses three-dimensional learning promoted by the NGSS, and then there's a button that says learn more, linking to this document that I have in the comments here. And I'm hoping these are showing up for you now. I'm wondering if it was a permissions issue. I went through and I redid all the permissions because all the links worked for me. So I'm guessing that was probably what the problem was. And then on the right side, it would just have this, curricular design blurb here. Let's see. I love how you did the testimonials and the contacts at the very bottom right here. I think that looks fantastic. One thing I wanted to say is I am actually wondering if it might make more sense for us to put the research stuff just on the assessment page. I'm not really sure, and our team, I'm sure, will have 2 cents about that, but I was worried that this front page was getting kind of long. And so anyway, on the outline, I actually removed that from the front page and I moved it down to the assessment page. So the page 3, assessing multiple dimensions. I put that here, and that's another place where you'll see this this citation or reference that's in red that we'll want to play around with. Now, I am hoping that rather than, here it's where on your website, it's like I'll click on the link and it'll show the graph separately. I am curious if we can just show that graph. And maybe that's what you had planned to do. But if for some reason you're having an issue accessing this, let me know and I can just send you the graphics that we actually want on the website. Okay, so just moving through here. So I already talked about that. Okay, so this is now getting into the actual pages that we click on here. So clicking on the Transforming Classrooms page, which, I know you're still working on the links and stuff here. Let me just go to this. Okay, Transforming Classrooms. So I just wanted to say I love this. I love how it has, the blurb here with the picture on the right-hand side. I think that looks awesome. I do have some pictures of teachers engaging in professional development that we can use. I have to figure out what picture might make sense for the assessment one. I'll work on that. Anyway, so for this page, I was curious your thoughts on doing like a 2-column thing here. Maybe I'm too high on this 2-column thing, but I'm curious if we could have a left column that is the peer curricular resources and a right column that has all the links to the next gen science standards. So I kind of reorganized this here with that thought. So this is the main, this in blue here is the main description that you have up here, which is fantastic. Keep that. And then I'm wondering about this 2-column thing. So the left column header would be peer curricular resources with a little descriptor here. I'm all high on these buttons that you have throughout. I really like them. So you'd have this button text that says learn more, and it would link to this file here. Then there would be 2 different subheaders. The first would be scope and sequence, which would have this this text here, and then below that there would be a graphic that shows our learning cycle. This would just kind of be embedded, and then they would be able to click on that graphic and it would open a PDF file that goes into greater depth about the learning cycle. Below that would be another button that just says peer scope. I really love these blue buttons. I don't know. We probably don't want to overdo it with the blue buttons. I'm sure you have a design eye for that. But basically, if you think it's okay, do something that like a button that says peer scope, which would then link to this file that shows additional information about the scope of the curriculum. Then, some little blue text, little text below. And then the second subheader would say detailed peer chapter maps. And then our graphics gal put together these 6 little icons. And my hope is that rather than, so I think right now the way it is we have, it's just like a list where they would click on the list. I'm wondering if instead it could be, little icons like this, and they click on the icon, and then clicking on that icon would then take the viewer to that chapter's map. And I'm still waiting on our graphic designer to put them into the Google Drive folder. She will do that by midnight tonight, our time. So those little icons will be available here. I have it linked into the comments. Okay, and then in the right column, it would be for the next gen science standards with a little description. There are some citations here, and then, this subheader, alignment with the next generation science standards. Sorry about that. And then here, I do think it could just be a list where, it's linked in. Okay, so then the part that I'm struggling with, because those are kind of the two main pieces I want to showcase, but then we also need to showcase the teacher's guide. Oh, this should be in blue because we'll need some type of header. And the web-based resources. I don't know how to do that without it feeling super wordy. I'm hoping that you have some type of idea with that. If you think that a teacher's guide excerpt, just a picture of it would help, we could do that. Okay, here's some other stuff that I need to put in blue. Sorry about that. Okay, so then the second page for professional development, all the stuff is here with a link. If you think it's better, I'm struggling with the balance. Some things it makes sense to have a link to it. Another option is like with this, could we just show this PDF on the website? So it's not like a link to the PDF, but it actually shows it in the body of that web page. This is the second page. This is the Engaging Teachers page. That's a possibility. And then the assessing multiple dimensions, I organized this a little better and I added the text that would go with each piece. I was wondering here if we could do something similar to what you've done on the main page. So with these 3 boxes like this, I'm wondering if you could do something similar to that, but with these 3 assessment pieces where we'll have the icons. I don't believe they're up yet, but I did have a tab up here to show you. Oh no, those are the sweet icons. Okay, so there'll be like this little triangle icon that says 3D assessments. There'll be an engineering design challenge icon that looks similar to this. And then there'll be an assessment bank icon. Our designer is working on just some final touches to those before she puts them in this folder. But then I'm wondering if it could be similar where it's like the icon, it says like 3-dimensional assessments, and then the little blurb that we have here for that. So there's that piece. And then the other piece on this page is the research. I'm struggling with that living here. It can live here, but it might make more sense to have a separate page that just says like research. I'm not really sure. I don't know how hard it would be to just do that as a second page, but this is a place where I'm curious if our publication list, that's the wrong link. I'm glad I just found that. There is a link to our publication list. And let me see. Sorry for the brief pause. Public face, PDF links. So there's a publication list. It looks like this. I'll fix that link. I'm curious if we could, if this could be a place where rather than clicking on it to show this list or this PDF, I'm curious if that could actually live in the body of the website. And then here are, the 2 graphs and quotes that we want to highlight at this point. So, okay, so that's kind of the main website stuff that I wanted to talk with you through. I thought our bios and stuff looked good. I haven't looked that much at that, but then for the current peer teachers, so I saw that there will be like a button on the main page for teacher login. That sounds great. I'm kind of partial to having that on the upper right. I don't know. We can talk more about that. I'm sure that's easy to deal with. Okay, so I've not put anything in blue here because really all you're doing is taking stuff from our original website and making it available on the new site. I wanted to be sure this is pretty clear that I want the teaching resources on the left and the assessment resources on the right. Again, we'll be using those same icons for the same 3 assessment resources that we have, and I will just need to have those linking into the assessments themselves or have places where I can link it in later. Let me know if you have questions about this piece. The only other thing I wanted to show you is you had mentioned that you weren't able to access our the testimonials, and I just wanted to show you that they are here. So when you go to our main page on the right hand side, there's this list of publications, which I'm not having you use. Just note, don't use these. In fact, you're not using really anything from this main page. It's all in that new Google Doc. But down here, teacher testimonials, you actually have to click on the